Welcome everybody to this version of Full Force Drafting. This one's going to be a lot more interesting than normal because we're going over 5 color and I don't really know if the deck works or not. I'm not entirely certain how it's going to look at the end of it. This is one that I'm probably going to want to revisit because it'll be very, very interesting. I'm doing 8 4s here because we want to see how everybody else's decks turn out when we draft this weird. Because what we're going to be trying to do is I think that there's 2 ways that this will go. We'll either end up with a lot of artifacts, and so it will be 5 colors, but mostly artifacts, so it's easier to splash cards. Or we're just going to like grab a ton of like we could go like energy, we could go like fabricate encounters. So like there's a few ways like that we could go. So it's kind of going to be interesting. We're either going to have one of those kinds of synergies, I think energy, or like just all artifacts. I'm really not sure which way is more likely. It could also be fabricate, though. I hadn't really considered that. It's certainly possible that we get a lot of fabricate and there's still 5 colors. We've got Wildest Dreams here, which I think I take. It's most likely that we end up with a lot of green because we're going to want to get things like Attune with Aether and the Wild Wanderer, things like that, so that we can fix our mana. And so Wildest Dreams seems like something I should take. It's a good card. Being able to play it for 5 is always really nice, like getting 2 cards back. If you can play it for 7, it's absurd. So I like the card. I think it's okay. Now we have Long Tusk Cub, Narnum Cobra. Glimmer of Genius is actually kind of tempting because anything that draws you cards does fix your mana a little bit. But I think that we just take the Long Tusk Cub. Got a good start with the green. If we can cut the green, then we can hopefully get those fixers like I talked about. Plus, Long Tusk Cub is really good with things like Attune with Aether, which is a card that I'll want. Alright, now it looks like we'll branch out. What are we going to branch out into is the question. Could be Live Fast, just to draw the cards. Not super excited about that. This pack doesn't have a lot that is exciting. Insidious Will could be good. The issue that I have with it is it's double blue, and if I'm going to be 5 colors, I don't want to be... I'm not sure how much fixing I'm going to get yet. So having, a double color blue card, I don't know if blue is going to be my other main color. I don't know how much fixing I have. It seems like a really tough card to take this early, so I'm going to just take Live Fast, and we'll go from there. Possible I could take Accomplished Automaton, but that's a really mediocre card that should be coming back. I mean, Live Fast isn't great either. Now we have Die Young. So, we've got a few ways to make energy. Die Young seems pretty good. Other options are like Ambitious Aetherborn or an Automaton. We'll take the Die Young, though. And we have a Contraband Kingpin, which I actually like a lot. But the problem is we don't have a lot of artifacts yet. Again, the fixing we don't have yet, so I might just take Prakata Pillarbug. Continue to take some artifact card, finally pick up an artifact card here. And try and continue taking some more artifacts so that it'll just be a little bit easier for us to splash. We really need things like the Prophetic Prisms and all of those kinds of cards. Wow, another Contraband Kingpin and a Longfin Skywhale. These are going pretty late. I think that I grabbed the Skywhale. Almost wish I'd grabbed the last Kingpin. I know that this would be a splash too, though. Maybe I just take like the double color. That's the problem. Maybe I just take the Contraband Kingpin. It does look like I'm green-black more than anything else. I need artifacts for this to work, though. I only have 1 so far, and no Fabricate. This is a tough one. I think that I'd take the Kingpin. It's not as powerful, but it's easier to splash. Now we have Self-Assembler, which is good. Bastion Mastodon also seems fine, but I think that I'd rather... In pack 1, I think I'd rather go for Self-Assembler in case I get a couple. Because then if I see other random ones later, then I think that the second Self-Assembler makes the first Self-Assembler better than a Mastodon. Could also take Prakata Club Security or Aether Tradewinds. Tradewinds is very tempting. Card's nice. I like the artifact too, though, because we have the Contraband Kingpin now, so makes sense to pick up some artifacts. No Wild Wanderers, no Prophetic Prisms, no Attune with Aethers, no Dual Lands. None of the cards that we really need yet. Which is a bit scary. Because I'm going to need a bunch of those cards if I'm going to want to splash all the colors. Chandra's Pyrohelix, another Prakata Pillarbug, and a Metal Spinners Puzzle Knot. I actually really like the Metal Spinners Puzzle Knot in this kind of deck. Just because, like I said, we want to try and get a little bit more consistency by getting down to our other colors of mana, and drawing extra cards does that. Also, just incidental artifacts can be good. I think Pillarbug is enough better that I grab it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Metal Spinners is very tempting. Chandra's Pyrohelix would have been a splash card otherwise. I'll take the Pillarbug. Now we have Cogworker's Puzzle Knot and Ambitious Aetherborn. I'm going to take the Puzzle Knot here. We might end up with like some Shrewd Negotiations or something like that we splash. Contraband Kingpin is nice with it. Get to scry a lot off of a Cogworker's Puzzle Knot. And I like having some cheap artifacts. Cheap creatures too. It looks like, I mean, we've already got a 5-drop. Well, we should be able to pick up a lot of 4s and 5s. Revolutionary Rebuff or Mind Rot. Rot somebody. Automaton is acceptable, I suppose. Ooh, Fortuitous Find I probably play. It's pretty likely that we have enough artifacts to make that worthwhile. Weldfast Wingsmith. Not the card that I want to splash, but we'll see what happens. So we're only in 3 colors so far. We need white and red cards, and we mostly need fixing. So cards that'll pull me into white or red are things like Welding Sparks or Evoke Privilege. We want like the cream of the crop kind of cards if we're going to take them. There's no reason to grab like a Herald of the Fair and move in on white. If we're going to do it, we got to do it for good cards. Eliminate the competition. There is also Elegant Edgecrafters, no fixing. There is a Renegade Freighter, which is pretty sick. I don't know how much I want to eliminate the competition. The card's okay, but it really does want you to have tokens. I guess I have the Cogworker's Puzzle Knot, but I don't have a lot of Fabricate, which is where it's kind of awesome. Trading your 1/1s for their bigger creatures is nice. Trading your like Self-Assembler for their Bastion Mastodon or something is fine, but not nearly as nice. I actually just think I take Renegade Freighter. Imperial Voyager is also pretty tempting. It's a nice way to get a ton of energy. Actually, Imperial Voyager seems quite good. Flying Trample gets me energy. Right now I have Die Young and Longtusk Cub using energy. It's so hard to pass Renegade Freighter. Card's just silly. I'm going to take the Freighter. I just can't stop the Pain Train. Wow, that's some white cards. Fumigate and Skywhaler's Shot. Well, if we want to go very deep, we could just grab Fumigate. Skywhaler's Shot seems like it's probably better. I know that Fumigate is sick. Like, I mean, when you can set up a good Fumigate, it's really awesome. The problem is the double white. Double white with no fixing so far is going to be tough. Skywhaler's Shot is very reasonable, though. I can almost certainly play a Skywhaler's Shot. And it's still a very good card. I mean, it kills most of the stuff that you care about. Fumigate can also be very awkward sometimes. If your opponent just slams like one big creature that you need to deal with, but you have like 4 creatures yourself, I mean, what do? Kill your entire board to get their one creature with Fumigate? You can. Sometimes you have to, but it's not desirable always. Take the Skywhalers. There's an Attune with Aether and a Self-Assembler. Ugh. That's too bad. I really need the Attune with Aether. I want Self-Assembler pretty badly, but it's not close in comparison to Attune. So yeah, I'm just going to Windmill Slam the Attune and move on. Oval Chase Dragster. Eager Construct. Another Self-Assembler and a Tidy Conclusion. Oof. These are some cards. So I have Young, I have Sky Whaler's Shot as removal. Could certainly take another one. Tidy Conclusion's nice. Eager Construct's not bad because we gain a lot of advantage for scrying down to our other colors. Self-Assembler obviously is, you know, Self-Assembler. Works pretty good. I'm really tempted by the Self-Assembler, but it's one of these two, I think. Eager Construct is fine, but these are both very powerful in their own way. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to take the Tidy Conclusion. I think that I just want one more removal spell first. Still no red cards for us to take. There's a Riparian Tiger, which is kind of nice. We have a fair bit of energy to use. Rush of Vitality's not bad. Lawless Broker's okay. I'm going to take the Tiger. It's another big beefy beater. Malphus Squad. Sure, that's fine. It's another way to get artifacts for Contraband Kingpin. And we don't have any 4-drops yet, which is weird. Normally you get a lot of 4s. There's Fragmentize, which would be a good splash, actually. There's also an Attune with Aether, though. And a Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. I really want the Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knots, but it looks like we're probably not getting a lot. We keep having better cards to take over it. I do like the card, though. Like in this deck in particular. Take the Attune. Narnum Cobra. Malphus Squad number 2. Or a Narnum Cobra. I kind of want another 2-drop. I have Long Tusk and Contraband. It's unlikely to get Contraband on turn 2. Cogworkers as well, I suppose. I'm going to take the Narnum. It's another way for us to actually crew Freighter on curve, which is a thing that we want to do. Malphus Squad is nice, but hopefully we get something like a Wild Wanderer, and we can actually fill up our 4-drop slot a little bit. I'm really surprised. There's a lot of 4s that you normally get. In this format, I've found that I get a glut of 4s and 5s. And this time I'm really not. I have a bunch of 5s, a bunch of 3s, but no real 4s. Alright. Bastion Mastodon it is. Let's just put that on the side. Another Narnum Cobra. There's Make Obsolete as well, but we'll take the Cobra. I feel like we're not getting these self-assemblers back. Which makes me sad, because that means I probably just play Bastion Mastodon over this one. Yeah, it's pretty likely. Harsh Scrutiny is not amazing, but if we come across like an insane deck, it's possible. Workshop Assistant is probably just sideboard. Fortuitous Find. I already have one of those. So we need like a Welding Sparks to pull us into red, and we need a Wild Wanderer or a Prophetic Prism. Prophetic Prism would be very nice. Spire Bluff Canal is not bad. That can help us splash. Ooh, there's also the Prophetic Prism. So there's Prophetic Prism, Impeccable Timing, Furious Reprisal. That would actually be something that I would splash in red. Absolutely. Attune with Aether, Spire Bluff. Some great cards here for 5-color. I'm going to take the Prophetic Prism, though. That's probably the correct thing to do at this point. If we have enough Attune with Aethers, I can actually play one less land as well. 1 or 2. I think right now we're probably running 16 land if we're running double Attune with Aether. Oh wow, there's some good green cards here. We have Long Tusk Cub, Pima Outrider. There's Revoke Privileges. I already have Sky Whaler's Shot, I have Die Young, and I have Tidy Conclusion. I think I want Long Tusk Cub. It's possible I want Pima Outrider. How much energy do I actually have? I have Attune, Die Young, so 3, 4... 4 ways to get energy, 5 ways to get energy. This card is so gross if you can get it down early and just start building up energy. Pima Outrider does get us other artifacts as well for things like Contraband Kingpin. And it's just a huge beater in itself. We have very few 4s. This is weird if we... It'd be weird to get Long Tusk Cub and be like a 5-color aggro deck, which is kind of the way we're going. I think that I'll take the Pima Outrider. I'd like Glimmer of Genius to come back. I'll take the Outrider. And that could very easily be wrong. There's a bunch of good cards there. Wild Wanderer, an Inspiring Vantage. Now we're getting all these 4 or 5 color cards. These are the cards that we wanted earlier. Wanted lots of these. They're all in the same packs. But yeah, Wild Wanderer is a pretty easy pickup. Aether Torch Renegade, which is not actually that great. There's Eager Construct. I mean, it's fine. It's certainly not bad. I might just grab it. I do have a fair bit of energy, and I am supposed to be 5 colors, so I should probably grab something in red. There's Peafowl, Eager Construct, and Impeccable Timing as well. I think Impeccable Timing is really what I want. This card is pretty annoying, I have to admit. There's a lot of decks where it's very good against. Could grab it. And your opponents have to be scared of you getting to 8 mana and just burning them in the face. Maybe I'm kind of convincing myself that I should just take Aether Torch. We'll just snap that off. Weldfast Monitor, Aetherborn Marauder. I think we want the Aetherborn. Weldfast Monitor would be sweet. Another artifact creature. Another way to use red mana. But Aetherborn Marauder, we do have Pima Outrider and Malphus Squad. Do we have anything else that gets +1/+1s? Long Tusk Cub. The Cub does do it. And even without +1/+1 counters, though, Aetherborn Marauder is pretty sick. I mean, a 2/2 flying lifelinker is always good. Got Fragmentize, another Puzzle Knot, and a bunch of mediocre cards. I'll just take the Fragmentize. I don't know if I main deck it or not. I certainly could. I have enough fixing. I'll have to think about that. Edgecrafters, Cow Prowler, just worse than Edgecrafters, I think. And Workshop Assistant, yeah, take Edgecrafters. And I don't think we're getting too much else that we want to splash. Take Nimble Innovator, Bastion Mastodon, Lawless Broker. More +1/+1 counters is okay. We're split between a few different things, though. We've got a bit of Artifact Matters stuff with, like, Contraband Kingpin. We've got some energy stuff, and we have some counter stuff with the Aetherborn Marauders. So it's very awkward. A little bit of the problem with 5-color, I think. I'm going to take... It's more likely that we want a Lawless Broker against, like, a fast deck. Gearseeker Serpent. There we go. That's another splash card. Totally reasonable splash, right? I think I want the Consulate Skygate. I don't have a lot of flyers. I might want it on the side. Security, sure. So I'm probably cutting either Live Fast or Fortuitous Find. Probably the Live Fast. And I need to cut one more card. I'm pretty sure I go to 16 lands just because of the double attune with Aether. These are basically lands that cost 1 mana to play. So imagine that they're like a... oh, what's that card? It's from Ravnica, Return to Ravnica block, where it comes into play and you have to pay a... It's a land that comes into play and you can tap for any color, but you have to pay a mana or sacrifice it. Peafowl's good for flying blockers. Ooh, Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. Finally, I do like that. It's very tempting. But it's very similar to that. Somebody's going to tell me it immediately in the comments section, I'm sure, but I can't remember the name of the card right now. It's like I want to it's like Ruinous Spire or something, but that's not right. I can see the artwork, but I can't remember the name of the card. Alright, so we're going to have to cut 2 cards, because I got the metal spinners. Do I want to keep the metal spinners, or do I keep the cog workers? I think I can take the cog workers out and keep the metal spinners. I'd rather just draw cards. Maybe that makes me crazy. And we need to cut 1 more card. Could be one of the Attune with Aethers, although then I'm a little bit worried about our splashes then. What else do we cut? We've got some good cards. There's some very powerful cards in our deck here. I mean, Edgecrafters is a nice finisher. Wildest Dreams is pretty good if we can get that late. We have some decent removal and like Tidy Conclusion, Skyweller's Shot, Die Young, Longtusk Cub's a beating. We have a lot of solid playables. I don't know how much they work together. We'll see how that works. Could take out the Filler Bug. That just might be the right thing to do. Lulfist Squad I still kind of like, just because it has flexibility. It can either work with +1/+1s with Aetherborn Marauder, or it can give us 1/1s to work with, like, Contraband Kingpin. Give us more artifacts. So I think I like the flexibility there. I mean, that's awkward. I don't know how much I want to cut a Pillar Bug. We can actually curve out and be pretty aggressive in this deck. Which, like I said, it's weird for 5 colors, but Longtusk Cub into, like, Pillar Bug or Renegade Freighter, that's very fast. Certainly can be. I've found that the lifelink is pretty useful on these, too. So Malphus Squad or Pillar Bug. This is a tough choice. Just for curve. Alright, I'm going to do that just for curve. Am I? This is tough. No, I'm going to go back to the Malphus. I just, the 4 power, the 4 possible power just might be more important. I don't have that many big creatures. Another finisher is probably fine. I'll leave it like this. So we want 1 of each. Yep, that's perfect, because we have our Attune with Aethers. We need 8. I might need to go 9. 9, 4, 1, 1, 1. Seems good. 1 planes gives us a lot of planes. Like, even though we have double the number of white cards we have red or blue, and we have things like Prof Prism, double Attune with Aether, and Wild Wanderer. So 1 planes gives us 5 different sources of white mana, so I think that's okay. We have more than enough of blue and red. I almost don't want to play a land of those. The problem is that a lot of our fixing is the Attunes and the, Wild Wanderer. If we had like 2 or 3 Prophetic Prisms, I might not play I might not play mountains or islands. Probably just play them off of the Prophetic Prisms. Which is why I wanted to pick up a lot of Prophetic Prisms. I'm playing a little bit more green because green is where our color fixing is. So we should be able to fix black if we have green. Kind of the point. I like the Fortuitous Find with the Narnum Cobras. That can buy us a lot of time to get to the late game. Alright. This is an interesting deck. We'll see how it does. Be back for round 1. What a beautiful starting hand. We have our mountain and our white and blue cards. Yeah. I don't think that I can throw this back.